What is a midwife? A midwife is a person trained to assist women in childbirth, typically in a natural way. Today I joined some of our local midwives to get a better understanding of who they are and how they benefit the community. First I sit down with CNM Stephanie Devane Johnson to hear her experiences of midwifery. Along with Stephanie, I meet another CNM, Venus Standard, who agreed to share her story as well. The question I asked is, what does being a midwife mean to you?
What does being a midwife mean to me? It means everything to me. I have been a certified nurse midwife for 18 years. So a long part of my career just being a nurse has been as a nurse midwife. From the moment that I have a memory as a child, I always loved babies. I've been infatuated by babies. I love babies. I migrated towards babies. Babies that I didn't even know. I always loved babies. I would go to the bookstore and find books about babies. So didn't know at the time that was where my journey would begin, or that I would be a nurse midwife, but looking back on it, I can see how that evolved, just from my love of babies, and I love being with women and supporting families. Some of my best relationships, my best friend was a patient that I delivered 14 years ago, and I delivered 3 of her 5 babies and had delivered one of her babies 2 weeks before I had my baby, and so we've been there for each other, and I love the bonds and the relationships that come with being a nurse midwife. From just being in the clinic, sitting down, chit-chatting about family, to being in labor and watching and being there in the pivotal moment where a couple goes from being a couple to being a family. And a mom and a dad, and so their entity that they walked into the hospital. They walked in being Susie or Joe, and they walk out being such and such's mom, or such and such's dad, and that is fabulous. And there are very few things that women forget. You forget a lot in growing up, but you always remember your deliveries. You could be, I've talked to 90-year-old women, and they might not remember yesterday, but they remember having their baby 40, 50 years ago. And you being a part of that memory is what is so special.
I'm crying.
Next I ask, what are the qualifications of being a midwife?
Well, in this state, it's different for each state. In this state, the state of North Carolina, you have to be a nurse first. And then after you finish your nursing degree, you have to go to midwifery school. And depending on the program length that you want to take, it could be anywhere from 2 to 3 to 4 years. And it's a master's degree at this time. It soon will change to a doctoral degree, but as of right now, it's a master's degree.
From my research, I got an understanding that midwives have a strong relationship with patients. To test if this is true, I asked, how would you describe a midwife's relationship with the patient?
Indescribable. It's fabulous when you bond. There's some patients that I can be quite honest that your personality and their personality sometimes don't mix. And it's just a different way of sometimes thinking. Sometimes some midwives are very direct. Some patients don't like that. Some patients like sugar dripping off their lips and, petting and oohing and ahhing. And some midwives are like that and some aren't. Doesn't mean that they're any better or worse of a midwife. But I've had patients, when you're in a group practice, it's like, well, I like such and such better than I like such and such. And I'm like, I'm always a firm believer, you deliver with who you're supposed to deliver with. And sometimes a patient who likes the touchy-feely, sugar dripping off their lips needs more direct in labor to get them to focus, to get them to concentrate. And then they say afterwards, you're just like, I wasn't really, we didn't really bond during prenatally, but during delivery, you were exactly what I needed. And that's the beauty of kind of being in a practice with other nurse midwives, such as the group that Venus is with. There are 4 different personalities, and there's 4 different ways to skin a cat. There's 4 different ways to deliver a baby. Ultimate goal, happy, healthy mama, happy, healthy baby.
After that I asked, what are some of the challenges of being a midwife?
some of the challenges could be facility based, when you're limited on things that you're able to do that you'd like to do or that the patient would like you to do for them. So far as their delivery mode, method, where they would like to deliver, things like that. Those can be challenges depending on your facility. This hospital that we're in, Women's Hospital, is very midwife friendly. There's a lot of midwives that work here in this facility, and we try to accommodate the patient's needs and their desires for the birth that they want to achieve. So it kind of depends on the situation.
After this experience, I learned how dedicated and truly connected midwives are with their patients. Being a midwife is not just a job to them, it's their passion. They care deeply about what they're doing and reflect it in their actions and attitudes. From meeting the CNMs, Stephanie and Venus, I can truly say I'm excited to explore the path of midwifery and can't wait to have my own bonds and experiences. So have a healthy life, choose a midwife.